Okay, this is Incremental Science 28, right? And if you've been paying attention through all the incremental sciences, you know where we at right now. Ultimately, we're normally standing this way facing the sun when we meditate. We're pulling in vitamin D, right? You're standing this way. But if you know, when I spoke into incremental science, like a long time ago, I spoke to how divine energy is coming this way, but we are taking a divine energy facing it. We are looking towards the light. But once you fill up on that light and you get that universal awareness to the highest level, if you remember this illustration similar to this the other day on another incremental science, where I showed you how the shadow is the counterpart to you. So it actually has a tether to you. It's like you are the reality and the shadow is the counterpart to you. The shadow is the unseen world of you. So what happens is when you learn to turn around and you meditate into your own shadow, as you're focusing into yourself, then your consciousness can be transmuted from this place. Now, this is a form of death that they don't never talk about, but it actually takes place. It takes place a lot with higher beings that you just don't know about. This is why they don't speak about it, right? So what happens is, and this the stories that I've heard, illustrations that I read where they talk about different monks who were able to meditate for a long period of time and condense their energy. They would condense their energy down into like a button, and they would become a button. Like the body suit itself would condense down into a button, and the light would burn the shadow where they sat and they meditated. The light would burn, or the shadow would burn into the stone, and it would be a forever shadow wherever they were meditating. And that was very interesting to me, knowing the concepts of how we go enter through dimensional, how divine energy keeps shining through. That was very powerful because it was like the divine energy that sustained the physical body transmuted from the body into the shadow, which created a new world and left a bead behind. Now, the bead that was left behind in his robe ended up being a talisman. They would say that they keep these beads for talismans because they ended up being good luck because of the energy that the individual is able to transmute in between this reality to the next. So they don't really speak about these deaths that occur a lot, but they do happen. Sometimes when you have these particular deaths, people would just sit and they would dry. They would just dry out, and their body would actually take on a mummification without being mummified. And their energy, who knows where they went at that point? Nobody knows if they went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like if they traveled, like at that point. But I know the connection to the reality is you would have to river yourself out. You would have to condense yourself down, and then the shadow, which got burned into existence or burned into the stone, will become the new ether, which is the river. That's the river. That's the unseen river, the etheric river that came from you, out of you, that gave you life of creation or allowed you to create. And it will go back into a universal form, coming behind another black hole, subsequently creating a whole nother universe, becoming anew. That's focus, condensing. When you condense your energy, shrinking is the possibility. And it's been so many different, like we get stories where they say the guy went on a boat and he was in the boat rocking back and forth for years, and then all of a sudden he found himself in these crazy storms, and then these crazy storms sucked him in through this wormhole or this whirlpool, and the whirlpool took him to another world where he ended up being a giant. He's a giant around this land. These people are like, oh my God, it's a giant. We have to get him. And they tie him down and all this. And they call it Gulliver's Island.
I remember. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Ah! Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
Go to Patreon and sign up. The link will be in the description. Hurry to finish this lesson.